Welcome to the first E-Rally of the Pickens Army. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to introduce my guest, Carl Pope, Executive Director of the Sierra Club. Carl?
It is wonderful to join you in your Army, Boone. This has been a very interesting evening, and it has been fascinating to see the degree to which, really for the first time in your lifetime and mine, we're actually hearing from presidential candidates about what we need to do about our energy situation.
We're hearing some rhetoric, but we haven't seen a plan.
Well, I think in fairness that, my reaction was, first of all, it was very good that John McCain said right off the bat he wants to do something about energy independence.
Right.
That's good rhetoric. It was very good that Barack Obama, when asked, what of your three big things you're going to do first, he said, I'm going to do energy first. He understands, I think, that energy is the pay for. Energy is what gives us the money to do the other things we need to do. And Obama did talk about the fact that he was committed to spending $10 billion a year to get the job done. Now, he's a politician, you're an oil man, you like to talk about physically what does it really take. It takes the wind corridor, it takes the transmission lines, it takes the CNG and the trucks. Obama talks about the money, and I frankly like your way of talking it better than a politician's way of talking about it.
Well, but Carl, they say the words. I'm not sure they understand exactly what the problem is. But I said, I don't know, weeks ago, that health care and education, you're not going to have the money to even address those problems if you don't solve the $700 billion problem on the cost for foreign oil.
Which is now a $500 billion problem because the price of oil is going down.
That's right.
So people can see, in the Army, you can see how big a difference it makes to make a relatively modest displacement of how much oil we demand, but we did it the wrong way. Frankly, we reduced the demand for oil by messing up our economy. What you and I want to do is reducing the demand for oil by growing our green economy.
That's right. But, Carl, the economy got messed up because of the cost of oil.
Well, that's part of it. There were some other factors going on there, too.
There were. I mean, there was the subprime loans and all, and there were other problems that started to show up once the system started breaking down. But the outflow of money, it's interesting that the $700 billion has been picked up and used over and over, and then when we had the rescue plan, that was also $700 billion.
Well, it says to me that, this is the big number out there. This is really, if you want to say, okay, if you're the government, you're the new president, whether it's McCain or Obama in January, what do you want to do? You want to jumpstart the economy, you want to get wages going, you want to get jobs going. Where are you going to get the money? The only place you can pay for it is with green energy.
Well,
because green energy displaces that money we're sending overseas.
That's right. The number that's going overseas is so huge that everything we do for ourselves as far as fixing the money going out is cheap.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what
it's actually cheap.
Let me tell you what that number is going overseas means. I was in New York 2 weeks ago, and I got a letter from a guy who was from Abu Dhabi. He wanted to meet with me, and it was like, well, I don't usually meet with people from, people from Abu Dhabi usually don't want to talk to me. So what's this about?
Carl, you and I are alike on this point. We'll meet with anybody that wants to talk.
Well, that's absolutely right. Anybody listen, at least.
That's right.
So I met with him. He's a nice gentleman, and he was very clear. He represents Abu Dhabi. They know that the world's going to run out of oil. They know that their future can't be dependent on oil. So they've set aside a huge chunk of what we're sending them. They've set that money aside, and they now want to bring it back to the United States. You know what they want to do with it? They want to buy wind businesses and solar businesses and smart grid businesses and electric car businesses here in the United States.
Sure.
They're going to take the money.
They know we have to have it.
They are going to take the money we've sent them buying their oil, and they're going to use it buying our green economy. And if we don't wake up from that and say, wait a minute, we should stop sending them all those dollars. Start spending them right here at home. And I think Barack Obama gets it, but he's not as clear about it as you've been, and I think we really need to connect the dots, not only for the American people, but for American politicians. They don't see the connections the way they need to.
Okay.